Hello everyone, welcome to this new series. It's going to be a noob's tricks to dungeon mastering in Dungeons & Dragons and other games. So in this series I will go over some of the things I do as a DM in details of how I do things such as planning events, custom rules and dealing with issues that have arisen in my games. I'm still rather new to Dungeons & Dragons and DMing in general, although I have been role playing for quite a few years. I started the Dungeons & Dragons last year with 5th edition and I've run about 10 sessions as a DM. So I'm doing this series because a lot more experienced players do things like this, but they can sometimes forget little things that trip up the new players, and I wanted to address them myself while still being relatively new. For now, I'm going to do this in a podcast sort of setting. That's due to my setup at home, although later I may turn it into a vlog if wanted. So we'll start off, because you can't get a party or group together without a quest or story. So I'm going to cover the ways that I have come up with missions and where I draw my inspiration. I'll do this with explaining my first dungeon experience that I designed myself, which involved saving a town from a necromancer over the course of a few in-game days. The goal for the heroes was to destroy the necromancer and free the town, although there were a few hiccups and other quests along the way for them to do. So, to start off, where did I get my inspiration? Inspiration for ideas can be tricky as you don't want to feel like you're just copying another story. But you can copy a story, that's fine. Especially as a fresh DM, that's one of the best ways to come up with ideas. But as long as you change a few facts or features of the story, people may not even realise it's the same story as the original. With my example of the Necromancer, the main story is pretty much a copy of one of the quests from Dragon Age Origins, where undead would attack each night from the castle keep in Redcliffe, I think was the name of the place. But instead of a demon summoning them, I made it a rogue wizard, and the townspeople were safe. They weren't constantly under attack as long as they obeyed the Necromancer and stayed inside at night, don't break curfew, that kind of thing. So there were slight differences there. So just with those slight changes, I don't think people recognised where the story was going, and it had a different ending towards the end. It went off on a different path compared to Dragon Age. I mean, you can do this with all sorts of stories. Even long-term DMs need to draw their inspiration from somewhere, so don't be afraid to take something like that and use it yourself. A good example would be the Provokers campaign that is run by Fistful of Dice. They're another YouTube channel that do D&D stuff, and they have a enemy called the Corruptor. The Dungeon Master for that game has admitted and said that his inspiration for the Corruptor was Arthas from Warcraft 3. But yeah, I didn't notice that. I love Warcraft, and I know all about Arthas. I did not notice that link until he explained it. You didn't look at that character and go, oh, that's Arthas, because enough things had been changed for the character that you couldn't still recognise it as the same one, despite it having the same basic template, which is good guy tries to do good so much that eventually he starts becoming chaotic and then eventually just turns evil, that sort of thing. Let's take a different example though. Let's move on somewhere else. Your party has to escort a halfling to the Mountain of Pain so that he can destroy a cursed ring of invisibility, but along the way you're pursued by 9 banshees. So you can see you've copied another story there, and you're almost there, but you can tell quite easy. That's Lord of the Rings. That's Lord of the Rings right there. Well, if we change one thing, we can make the story feel very un-Lord of the Rings. We can make it feel completely different. A halfling was cursed while adventuring. Now he is haunted by 9 banshees, so you must escort him back to the mountain where he was cursed to break it. We still have the halfling, the banshees, the mountain, the cursed reason, and we have to go to the mountain to break the curse. The only thing we've really taken out is the ring. So you can see just by changing a couple of things like that, you can make a story that doesn't immediately feel, oh, that's Lord of the Rings, but it still has the basic premise and story behind it. The trick is finding that breaking point where the events you make differs enough to no longer be easily the same, but you still have your inspiration behind it, because you don't want to lose that. If you have something you really like, use it. Use that story, use that book, use that game, use that mission, whatever. Just make sure you tweak it enough to be different. So, in summary of this, drawing inspiration and even copying is a good thing, especially for those of you who are fresh and starting dungeon mastering out there. So don't be afraid to take quest lines from games like Skyrim or Warcraft, or even books you've read. As long as your party is having fun and doesn't spend half the mission going, is that halfling Frodo? Is that Frodo over there? Then you've done your job. That's all you need to do. So don't be afraid to copy, steal inspiration, blah, blah, blah. Just remember, nothing is original anymore. Right, so that will about do it for this short podcast. I just wanted to get this one started to know what you guys think of this sort of setting. If you want more, feel free to leave a like and a comment and let me know what you think. I know this is a bit unusual from my old stuff, Minecraft, which I will still be doing, so don't worry about that. So, thanks for listening, guys, and like I said, let me know what you think. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them down below, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.